Welcome back. Just setting up behind the scenes, getting the astrology up so we can have a very quick update, and then we're going to get into the super chats. Now, this is a bonus session, so if it is a bit unannounced, it is because it is a bonus session, especially because I haven't had time during all our transitions to have a chat to you guys. I figured it's probably best if we do actually have a bit of a catch up, thus the super chats and the energy updates. We're going into quite a dynamic month, especially being that this is eclipse season and we are bringing in two transitions. I did have to update a lot of I'll get myself on screen. I did have to update a lot of the posts that I had in the community posts. And now your community posts to the public, to YouTube, you more than likely will get the notifications, because previously we were actually sharing those notifications with the members hub. And now that I've kind of removed that and we've moved it into a different network, it does mean that the actual communication side of things hopefully will work a little bit better. So we do have the notifications that will come through. I did have to backtrack and add your links back in, although we did have the twin flame content that was actually scheduled. The direct connections weren't posted inside the link. I have started doing a blog post really that links to the astrology. It was quite in depth, so it's more than likely over the next 24 hours going to be up. I've taken it down because I usually tend to give you the post that connects to the dates and the transits and things that are happening. And then directly after, what we do is provide the aspects, basically what's going to happen in the month. So what we do have this month is two eclipses, one directly related to the South Node and one related to our previous North Node. And, you know, we do see a lot of Aries transits coming up this month. So we can have this kind of feeling with Mars direct at the moment that we are going to have more energy. We're going to feel quite determined and really feeling that we are going a particular direction. I do believe by the time we do get into April, we could have a revelation that maybe that direction is going to be very different, and that's okay too. So we could have, could it be a change of heart? Yes and no. It could just be a different viewpoint of it, a different way it's going to manifest out. But again, we will do catch-ups and check-ups with that as we move through. Now, the first eclipse is going to be in the House of Virgo, and that's on the 14th. And many times what we do tend to find is those eclipse energies are already playing out the month before. So being that it is a South Node, it is making aspects to the Pisces energy. It's making a conversation piece between the two. But we actually did have the moon last month in Pisces. And, you know, you would be forgiven to feel that it was a little bit like an eclipse. Now, we did have back last year an eclipse in Pisces. This last moon last month was, we could call it the midway point. And I do believe we're almost being given a signature of what this North Node frequency is going to be for all of us collectively. So it's a check-in. It's almost like a warning bell coming through going, are you getting the PDF? Are you grasping it? Is there some adjustment you need to make to move yourself in that direction? Now, some attributes of Pisces can make us very undecided. I definitely do feel this is a time for mind wellness. Morning, Sweet. It can be a time where we second guess ourselves. It's like we want to go into analysis paralysis. We can be less fast to get onto something, to address something. This month is going to be extremely busy. So if you are finding all of a sudden things are coming at you, things are going to move very quickly, it is because we are going to be having a lot of aspects really sitting in that Aries energy. Now, Aries is the first house in the zodiac. It can link to your face. It can link to, how can I explain it? It's your identity. It's your confidence. We also have Chiron and Aries that has been giving us a hand over the last few years to really help us fine-tune our confidence, fine-tune our assertiveness. And I can tell you, for most of you, if you look back to 2017, many of you can say that your whole attitude and the way that you show up and look at things is going to be incredibly different. I do really feel, because this Mercury is going to move, and I believe it's both Mercury and Venus. Let's double check. So we have Mars direct at the moment in Cancer, still in the shadow phase, but it is going to be increasing. So we can be more assertive, we can be more direct, we can be all of a sudden cleaning our homes and getting things in order. Or it could be some dynamics that are happening around family, our safety, our inner emotions. And yes, we can also be very security conscious. There could be some things where there can be some conflicts with Mars direct, especially in the house of Cancer. Cancer is very nurturing, whereas the Mars energy can be very assertive or, very cutting. So we do need to be cautious of mood swings this month. And, mood swings. We could see more subjects to do with, it could be women's rights. It might be, injuries happening to females. So being cautious, especially knowing where that actually is. But I feel a lot of focus and attention is going to be in that domain. We do have a square on the 26th of March, and that's going to be to Chiron. So it could be some difficulty around those situations. Now, our retrogrades, let's talk about those. The big things we do need to know. Mercury will move into Aries on the 3rd. It's going to then move into its retrograde on the 15th of March. We will get the shadow energy. Now, Venus is going to be retrograding on the 2nd. So for most of us already, we are already in the midst of that energy. And it will bump back into the house of Pisces after, I believe, around the 27th. So it is going to make two subjects. And I think we really can look at both of these areas as in the Aries-Pisces axis. So why is that important? One thing is, know where that is. I'd probably bump onto Astrology and I'd have a look. You can pull up a birth chart. You can have a look at where that is landing for you, what house and what subjects particularly it's going to link to. Yes, we can have changes in values. We can have changes. We also can have addictive spending. So it's very important to, during this time, not to go to extremes. Shoot first, think later. Really to be cautious about what we're valuing. And we can be reassessing those things. It can be a time where, yes, we do have those blasts from the past coming back. And is it okay to deal with that? Yes, it is. It's actually it's actually part of the dynamic. We could be revisiting. It could be a career, depending on where it falls in our chart. It could be revisiting a value system we had, or reviewing our values, reviewing our spendings and expenditure. It could be a physical contract. It might be a physical relationship, a style and a trend. There are some people that talk about, okay, don't do surgery during it. But if it's aspected in a particular house, it may be that does come up for you. So what you can find is that with Mercury and Venus retrograde, you can have mixed results. But again, it could be if you have no choice, you have to. The other thing is, what we can find is there can be a delay with healing with those things, or a delay of the outcome. So that can be one way it directly can manifest for you. But don't get too caught up in your head about it. Those of you that are dealing with situations of the past, it's an opportunity to review and see if that situation has changed. And to really, at the moment, I think a lot of us are realizing we are very different. So maybe some of the things that we valued once upon a time, we simply don't value now. And so if we are all of a sudden getting very frustrated, because a good majority of this year has been retrogrades, I think we had a very small pocket with the direct, but it was within shadow. And then as we're moving direct, it's sort of like, okay, great, now we're moving into March. Astrologically, we do tend to look at March as the beginning of the lunar cycle, of the astrological year, so to speak, and it's happening with retrogrades. So, why is that so? To be sure, I just say. So we are revisiting the plan that we are having moving forward and where we're going to be, what we're going to do. There has been a great delay in certain areas of our life where we felt we were going to go. And we maybe had that signature last year around September, October, but weren't really able to achieve it because of all the retrogrades. It was like, no, not yet, no, not yet. And so it's like a diamond, that pressure that it's putting on us is causing us to become more crystal clear, to become more firm with our standpoint on it. But I don't think we're going to know how we're going to feel until we get to the other side. Now, with the axis of Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, a lot of backtracking, a lot of cleaning up old situations. Good time to redo your passwords. Good time to go over your bookkeeping and see what's working, what's not, what you value, what you don't. If you were selling something, you're generally going to get more for it. If you're buying something, you're generally going to pay more. So that can be the deal with those retrogrades. With the eclipse in Virgo, and I have started a post which is going to come up to the collective, and I am going to attempt during all of these transits to get the eclipse videos done. No promises, because I know how hard these transits astrologically have been for relaunches, and I have been doing quite a bit of that behind the scene to get everything ironed out. Some of the things we can see is particular countries coming up, and I do know that Australia will be linked. It can be WA as well. Turkey, what was the other? I'll get a couple of them up and I'll rattle them off to you. Bear with me. I'll pull up the post. And in the background, the video is actually playing, so it's probably lagging a bit. That's another thing. With Mercury retrograde, still, and Jupiter and Gemini, technology glitches is going to be massive. So we could have some power outages, we could have earthquakes, we might have things to do with the banking system, the medical system, and we see a lot of that happening, not only in America, but in other countries as well. So it's something that was almost astrologically aspected. So we could probably look in. I had a lovely member that has their own channel, and they PM'd me in Instagram yesterday, and they voiced these concerns of things that they were seeing. And the further into your ascension process you get, the further you can be an observer of a situation. And I have almost promised myself this year, especially with the North Node being in Pisces, is to not presume and to be very open-minded and to be able to admit that maybe you could be wrong, to admit that maybe something is hidden and we're not seeing it for what it really is. And so naturally, astrology can bring about some circumstances, and it wouldn't matter who was there. It's like it's natural ecosystem to usher in change. So sometimes we do need to learn to trust the process, even if from an egoic point of view, the shadow side of the Virgo axis is we don't directly believe that is so. We could be moving into this Virgo eclipse with some old patterns and habits. And that was another thing that I directly over the last 24 hours was really picking up. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you were going through it either, is that, do you have a bad habit? And I'll just rattle off some, kind of things that can be coming up from a frequency. We are trying to find the balance inside the Pisces and the Virgo axis, which could be impacting our health. Now, could that be because of pacifiers? Could it be because of substances or diet or the way we handle, are we eating our emotions, whatever that is? This could be a big signature time for us to be really kicking some habits. But what it can actually do, because the North Node's there, is bring them up in a very large way. So how you can actually navigate that's to be acutely super aware and go, wow, I'm not going to be angry at myself. I'm actually going to acknowledge this pattern that I've been through many times over. And I'm revisiting it now, from a Venus retrograde point of view and a Mercury retrograde and Aries and Chiron there. So do not be surprised and put your hand up if it's happening to you already. If you directly have been feeling that some patterns and habits, have been really dying hard and they're coming back up again, they're resurfacing. So, keep aware of that moving into this eclipse in Virgo. There can be some old things resurfacing. There can be some new ways that we're trying to move into life and to cut out some old ways that simply aren't working. Now, we may need to, at this time, be moving into circumstances without the complete direction. And that can be very destabilizing. So how can we navigate that? Detachment is don't get too far ahead. So if you are feeling agitated, stressed, almost like you're having a power struggle because you need more information before you proceed forward, what you can say is, how about I take one pebble stone at a time? Because a lot of times what does tend to happen is we get ourselves scared before we've even taken the first step, therefore nothing happens. Because we have gone into analysis paralysis, we see so many hurdles and we haven't even tried. So it can be that what we're needing to do is first acknowledge the decision. Is it a decision? Is it a circumstance? And then take the first step. And by moving through, it is a process that we are going through and we're taking one step at a time. We're actually going to find we're 20 steps ahead, over 20 steps back or going nowhere. So it is about trusting the process, working it out as we go. But Aries does tend to go too fast. So we've got to find that middle ground. And I'd love to hear some of your energies, what you guys have been feeling. But I do directly feel with this kind of Virgo eclipse, for some of us, it's not that it has, I would say, terrible aspects, but definitely because it is linking to the South Node, and because of the retrogrades we're having, we could get frustrated. Let's put it that way. Now, I'm going to find the posts that I've started, and I have actually written down some key locations. I wonder if they're there still. Bear with me. Okay, locations: Turkey, Australia, Western Australia, Europe, Asia, Switzerland, France, Japan, Germany, Ireland, Naples, Israel are some of the locations. Now, would I say China as well? Yes, because the shadow sign can link to and Russia as well. The shadow sign of Aries is Libra, and we could be collectively looking at it could be our contracts, it could be our partnerships, it could be marriages, it could be finances, the things we value, the things we spend our money on, what our goals are. Hi, sweet. So this Virgo eclipse can be those direct areas, but the axis also between Aries, I do think is going to be a big, quite a big energy, especially for the Libra areas of our life. I get this very significant feeling. Usually when we see nodes wrap up, we do tend to see some change happening in that South Node, and we really didn't see that last year. So I do believe between March and April, we can see some areas in our life where Libra lands changing, and if it doesn't come through right then, I have written the date, and I do believe it's around September, October this year, we are going to see a complete shift in that area. So there has been a bit of a delay. So those of you really that were Aries or Libra and you were hoping for some drastic change, a lot of you can be finding that this is coming up for you and it is going to transform. Now we're going to get into the super chats. We will do some more energy updates as we go. But, is it a good time to connect in? Is it bad, rather, to connect with a person from the past? No. There's an ordained reason why. It generally works a bit better. Can you be working on new things this month? You can, but I probably would leave them for launching later. work on them behind the scenes, test things out. It could be a great time that if you are wanting to test what works, is to use it rather as something very short term over something very long term. But a lot of these things, especially as Neptune does move into the house of Aries this month, it's going to ingress back out. That's going to be on the 30th of March. Neptune will enter into the house of Aries. We're going to have some key subjects shifting, but it will later ingress back into Pisces. So be aware of that. So hot energy for Aries. Frequency this month, very fast-paced. Hold on to your hats. Try to not lose your cool. We can be very passionate. Very passionate. Maybe having to react. Maybe having to be very firm. Okay, so the first individual we have is research clue. And at the end of it, if I do have time, I may pull some cards for the collective energy. So if you want to stick around for that, stick around. What do we have for you, research clue? Also, we do have the members. The membership has moved over to a mighty network. It is called Sage in a Circle Network, and we do have the sort of like the, well, it's that way, the subscription image. I think I have some other ones here. I'm not sure. Where is we? Yeah, so we have actually opened it to our YouTube members. So we've transitioned it over, and we do have different rooms, astrology rooms, twin flame rooms. So the membership, if you do want to get on the list for it, you do need to visit the website. So my website, all information directly below, or any of the blog posts that I'm putting up now, I have the link there. And you can get, for the second round offers, you can actually get on the email list. And basically the landing page of it explains everything that's going to be on offer and what the benefits are, basically what you get, be it it's events, education, cohort courses, group sessions. So that will give you the gist of it. Okay, research clue. You don't really know what to focus on at this point. You're a bit like, okay, what do I... And this could be you actually do have a lot going on. It's weird. You haven't even got a crowning energy. It's like no straight into it. I feel you're moving forward and not really knowing what to focus on first. I'd say just take it as it comes. I'd say deal with things as they go. And it might be that you're needing to do that at this point in time because you've got so much that potentially this month can be coming at you. You don't know quite which one to focus on. Now, universe is saying you can actually pull from your past to help you through this process. So you could be having a bit of a deja vu. You might be feeling as though you're going down memory lane or you're dealing with subjects that you dealt with before. You also could be feeling almost like sometimes this time can feel like we all collectively are going through an existential crisis, that we don't relate to things, that we don't resonate with things, that everything is looking very negative. It could be that from a Mercury point of view, things that we see in social media really anger us. So you, in a frequency research clue, are kind of looking at things like, God, I'm really over this. When is the best time going to come? Now, I do think for you this month is going to be quite significant, especially because I have given you readings and I do know your astrological sign. You can find almost in a signature sense, you are reworking your North Node energy. You're like, okay, who am I? Where am I going? What am I doing? And so you could feel like you're having an identity crisis, but I think it's more the fact that you're revisiting who you are. It's saying in the heart of it, you could be really hard on yourself at the moment, around love, around where you're going, around what you need to do, how you look, all the rest of it. It's asking you to go easy on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself, but you could be feeling really hard on yourself at the moment. It could be that you're needing to be playful. There is a temptation here. I'm going to pull a clarify. This could be somebody who is being quite playful towards you, but you're also like, are people just being playful with me? Am I getting the wrong message here? Am I getting the wrong idea? Or does this person actually really like me? You do want to get your funk back. You do want to get to a point where you can be more playful. And that's something that has there's something about yourself that you could be really missing. It's like, where's that zest? Where's that playful side? Yeah, there is protectiveness. It's funny because, especially in a dream, we have this card as a clarifier, but it's in reverse. And the first message they're giving me is, in a dream, a home, actually, if you are dreaming of a home, it gives you the status, of what your life is in your waking life. So if you find that, the home's really in tatters, is a frightening environment, it's very dark and gloomy and damp. It's like it's the status of your waking life. Now, with this card in reverse, it's almost like you're getting out of your comfort zone. You're feeling like you're shedding skin, you're evolving, you're out of sort. It could be 1 minute you're feeling very confident, the next minute you feel very reserved and you want to protect yourself and you want to go back to a comfort level. I think just be gentle with yourself as you're processing this. Just be aware of it, because it's not that you're going backwards. It's not that you're going to be stuck in a rut. Morning, Yarn. How are you, Dal? It's that you are going through this it's like a push-pull dynamic. So I feel with this push-pull dynamic, you're kind of getting the gist of, gee, I'm changing. Do I open up? Am I safe? Remember, your cards are actually explaining to you that in the past you have all the tools. So even if you're feeling out of your depth, and I said this in a coaching session with a client the other day, you are like a pyramid. And when you have, and I'll give you an example, when you have your resources, food, shelter, water, structure, support, could be community, it might be friendship groups, it could be resources, home and asset, roof over your head, food, a job. Then if something like a relationship falls down, you still have your structure, you still have your support system. So it's almost like I feel you're emotionally wanting to go into things, but you're feeling very protective of yourself. And you're like, what if this happens again? What if something gets taken? And it's like you have everything. Nothing can be taken apart from what you give. So you give as much as you can and you open up, and you're like that Chiron energy, like a lotus. You're opening up, realizing you're a very changed version of yourself. You're extremely safe. And, you're living then. You're not living in fear, because accidentally what we can have with the North Node in Pisces is we get too scared to live. So before you know it, we're living under a rock, and that's our existence, and that's not living. So the dynamic and the influence of Pisces, we all are very gradually being introduced to it. But for many of you, if you look back to 2017, 18, we had Chiron and Pisces, and that's shit. It was horrible. There was a lot of shadow work. A lot of people weren't feeling it, though. So this can be, at a collective level, the introduction to shadow work, the introduction to, finding our faith in ourselves, being very, maybe doing some shadow work and facing our fears and breaking old patterns and cycles so that we can have brand new beginnings. I do see you going through this at the moment, though. Now, tensions can be high. It can be that Mars energy. And trying to have blind faith. Look, you're manifesting good things then, but you just got to be careful not to bite off more than you can chew, okay? Because there could be something that maybe this month you need to address, or it's becoming a problem. Now, if it's an emotional situation, go to your support networks, right? If it's a physical thing and you're like, I've really got to let this go, when we get to this stage, it's like, wow, there's something here in my life I know I really need to let go of. It's not manageable. This could be a toxic environment. It could be a burden. It could be a bill. Whatever it is, this feels a separate situation, okay? I feel by addressing that, you're going to alleviate a lot of other things in your life, but it could be something that you've been trying to hold up. And it does make you feel vulnerable, but just admit the vulnerability. Admit, okay, by addressing this, what is that going to open up? And how can you avert disaster by addressing it? Because they're actually saying this is going to come up not to wait for it, but to actually get on board and actually go, okay, what is my plan of action? Because I feel if you jump into a plan of action, you're actually going to avoid it. But as to romance, I do think there is something kind of flourishing here. There's something blooming. You have more power than you think. There could be some judgment that you're waiting on. And again, I do think these things are going to go in your favor this month. I don't get a bad feeling. This is this week's energy. I wish you the best for it. And again, I feel, even though you don't know what to focus on, it's saying there's two areas at this point. You're going to have a lot on your plate. There's two major areas that can come up and two main areas that maybe you're going in circles in. Okay, let's clear the energy. And we'll move on to the next. And yes, for those of you, if you are wanting a super chat, just PM me via here and I'll see how long we've got. This is an unexpected kind of super chat. I scheduled it yesterday. I put all the dates in the previous post. So those of you that want to know when the next public super chat's up, you can actually get the notification. It's both in the community post and it is scheduled. So you can click on the bell and get notified. And that's when we're having the next super chat. Okay. The others do show the members. Those of you that were YouTube members last month, if you haven't as yet joined, go and see the email. I have you on the list. You've received an email. Look in your junk box if it's there. And it will give you all the instructions on how to join Sage in a Circle Network. You're still able to, with that price plan, get on. Okay, so we have Tracy. How you doing, Tracy? Plodding along, my love? Are you looking forward to all this Aries energy, or are you like, oh, geez, can I hide under a rock? Don't burn yourself out. Okay, that's what I would say. Do not burn yourself out. I was going to call you last night, yeah? We're in the snake here, aren't we? You need energy. It will come. It definitely, look, you know, with Mars having been retrograde, its shadow, Mars does tend to move quite fast. I would say it's going to pick up. The only thing was, really, because we had the retrograde, this has felt like the longest retrograde, is that it's coming back online. The frequency is coming back online. I always feel chronically fatigued during Mars retrograde. And it's moving between two signs, between Cancer and Leo, especially for those of us that have heavy Mars energy. It's going to hit you even further. But collectively, we generally do feel just really run down. You know, have you been having lower back pains? Have you been having... you know, almost like, I would say, could I say brain fog? Maybe. I'd say more base chakra. It depends on what nutrition your body is needing directly after the Mars retrograde. And we're about to have Mercury and Venus, right? So Venus already. I'm hearing 2's company, 3's a crowd. Wow, okay, what's that got to do with? You got the Harvest card. You got a third-party energy in reverse. But it's like I'm hearing 2's company, 3's a crowd. It's like you're needing some personal space. You're needing to... There could be 3 areas of your life that you're wanting to change. But I'm also feeling as though... How do I explain it? It's like... Okay, what am I picking up? It's like letting people deal with their own karma. It's like you reap what you sow, you know. It could be too much where you're looking at things and you're just going, well, they're just going to have to learn their lesson. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're going to work it out, but they're just going to have to learn. And that is detachment. That's like, look, you don't know what they're going to do. They just need to work it out. And I feel it's almost like something maybe has irritated you to the point you're like, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to look at it anymore. You've looked at it so many different angles. You're fed up with the situation. It's just like, you really just want to look in at them and say, look, I'm really fed up. I don't even have any words for you. I really just need you to work your life out because this is just blah to me right now. You know, it's weird because generally in a Venus retrograde, we romanticize things in the initial stage. I always call it a bit like Coyote Oakley. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. But in no set order, a little bit like the 7 stages of healing. So, but the status quo where you feel at the moment is blah, okay? Is it going to pick up? Yes, I do feel so. I feel you're going to have revelations. You want to do things that feel correct for you. So how can that show up? It can show up suddenly where you could get very angry. You could be like, you know what? I've been giving all this energy over here, but what about me? What about the hobbies I like? What about the plans that I have? What about this? What about that? Where's my self-love? I'm so tired. I need to nurture myself. So I feel that you're missing an old version of you, but you're also missing the new version of you. And I feel you're going to bring it about this month. It's going to be, how could I term it? It's not that it's going to happen right away, but it feels as though that investment is going to pay dividends. And it's like, no, I'm tired of feeling like this. I really want to shake life up. I really want to change things up. You know, you've got the Knight of Cups as well. And it's interesting that all's good with fun and games. You know, nights can be less serious. Now, it might be that at the moment that's just where you stand, or it could be the way you're perceiving this individual. I do think this could be to do with people, places, and things. It does have a subject matter of love coming up, but I don't think it's to do with just love. I do think it's an overall energy in general, point blank, just in the status of where you feel. It doesn't mean the whole month you're going to feel this way, because I'm really not feeling that. I feel it's sometimes the acknowledgement needs to come up of what the things are. And then as we look at it, it's like we realize, hey, no, this isn't how I want to live. This doesn't have to be how I need to live. And I mean, I had that yesterday. And my North Node is in Scorpio. I got Chiron in, Aries. So subjects to do with Mercury, subjects to do with day-to-day routine, diet, nutrition, health, wounds we have of the past, confidence, all of those things we can be doing shadow work in. But then looking to overall, it's like a vibration. And I think we're searching for that vibration. I think you're just going to have a revisit to self. And sometimes simplifying things means eliminating everything. It's like a tower moment. We're causing a tower moment psychologically. And we're like, okay, let me just clear the deck here and go, let me get back to that vibrational feel and slowly, bit by bit, put the blocks back up in the building to rebuild what the new version's going to be. And so it can be resting. It can be starting to do things or just acknowledging, hey, it could be that you love photography and you haven't been doing photography in ages. And it's like, I want to do photography, and getting back to who you are. Because when we feel we lose ourselves in other people, places and things and problems, it's almost like we can form this resentment that they've taken so much of our energy. Hi, Cosmic Journey. So I feel you're having this huge reset. And it's and tell me if this directly is relating. It's like you're having this reset and done on it. You're angry about it. You're like, I'm going to take my power back. I want my life back. I want to feel that happy, vital, confident, bubbly, flirtatious, playful vibration again. I want to feel that zest for life where I'm not being intoxicated with, bombardment of bad news. Could it be on social media? Probably because of Mercury. It's like, this is frigging with my vibration. How do I get this balance back? And there is, it's funny. And it's probably because the vibration does come through in the cards of the personality. Okay, Tracy, you do have a very, your vibration does remind me of my siblings and myself, where, sometimes our wounds can become our best weapons. It's like getting the revenge body, or, calm as a bitch. It's kind of that like vibration. I do get that coming through in the read, both by this you reap what you sow kind of frequency with these bland energies. It's like, you walk a mile in another person's shoes, you're kind of looking at that and you're going, sometimes these wounds, Aries and Chiron, can be our best friend because it's alchemy, right? So instead of allowing something to beat you down, your vibration's going to shift about and you're going to be like, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you all. I'm going to get this right. I'm going to be confident, vital, sporty, happy. And, I will not, I'm going to be different. You're going to regret it. But you're feeling also that nature takes its course, that nature kind of changes things. It's like, could it be karma? It could be karma. I'm being careful what I'm saying, but it's like you also like, you're cautious of who you let into your world. You're cautious that if somebody is giving you something, you don't want the IOU note coming back. You're like, look, I'll just fend for myself. I don't want to owe you anything. Don't do me no favors. You're being cautious. This can be at work as well. I think there can be some interesting characters you could be dealing with. You're like, no, I'll scratch my back, you scratch your own, okay? It's like you're picking up on particular people's vibrations and you have a very good, you have a very cautious assumption of the character, okay? So you're being cautious and you're scanning these individuals to gauge what to do. Inevitably, you do know this change is going to happen. It's weird. It's almost like for you, I think you will feel this by mid-month, but I think the total outcome is going to be by next month. But you do instinctually feel, when I say the moon card, especially in the context of being psychic and knowing the astrology, I can say the moon for you is going to be quite significant, is because we are moving into eclipse season. But it tends to show me, my guides tend to show me the moon in a sense of a signature time point. So I'm feeling this is to do with the major eclipses, to do with some things that are being eclipsed out and eclipsed back in and brought back. Something that was destined for you that should have happened last year is going to be happening very soon. But you're going to see the ball rolling, I would say, by mid-month. Could be even sooner, especially with the retrogrades. And this can be to do with marriages, contracts, partnerships, because we do have this card. But you are, I think it's because your vibration's shifting. You're probably getting the psychic download. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you're changing or you're just psychically picking up on it. I think it's both, okay? I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a gist of what you actually are dealing with and maybe how to tackle it that maybe you're not insane. I hope that makes some sense. On to the next. Who do we have next? I think it's Cosmic Journey. Cosmic Journey, it's your turn. Are you excited for this month's energy, Cosmic Journey? With that Virgo Pisces axis. You're like, oh yeah, can't wait. That narrows down more. Most welcome. I'm glad it does. Navigating this month for a lot of people can be testing, okay? It's all, I keep saying this, we learn the most through squares and oppositions. You're not sure. Oh, God, okay. The Virgo axis can be wanting to go back into our comfort zone. I think it's also about checking in with yourself and realizing where you've changed. A person maybe that has the nodal axis, how do we have those brand new beginnings is by making peace with the past, making the cake differently, and moving forward. Nodal returns can be difficult. Nodal reversals can be that midway point. Neptune will be moving out of that zone. So you're going to become probably, I would say, more realistic. Neptune will move into Aries. You need to know where that is. It's going to help you actually tackle that. But it will move back into Pisces later. So we'll have Saturn, which is moving soon too. And so we'll have Saturn there, and we'll have the North Node there. Now, Saturn creates structure, can create kind of responsibilities. It can relate to our age. Teeth, bones with Saturn, structures, systems. You know, and that's a very Virgo kind of trait, but it's in the South Node. So it could be revisiting old things. It might be recycling. It could be getting rid of some old things. It could be emotionally, intellectually, you know, letting go of things, getting rid of that. Okay, you are juggling at the moment. It feels as though there could be something, and again, I do think it's to do with marriages, contracts, partnerships for you. Have you left the job already? Yeah, fun. Nodal returns. Again, I still feel a lot of us are getting back on board regardless of nodal returns. We're probably this year, especially with the vibration of Aries coming in. A lot of people maybe wanted to move towards the direction of their life last year, but I'm telling you, I get this feeling it is between this month and next month, is because that eclipse in Aries is coming through now. So there's been a delay, but we're going to be really pushed on that journey, okay? Really pushed in that direction to address that area and to start moving the ship forward. And it's more confident. So I feel for you, this can be to do with either a partnership or a contract. And I think there could be two areas again. I always look at this, especially with the 2 coins there. There's 2 areas there. If you are trying to maintain 2 particular areas of your life, especially if it's in career, it could be that you decided to go down a particular road and then you backtracked and you've gone back and now you're going, oh God, did I do that prematurely? For some of us, yes, maybe we did, but it's about navigating the waters now moving forward. It's going to help you problem solve very quickly. I took on a job, but I'm not getting a lot of hours yet. You can also find, this is the hard part. Look, during a retrograde, you could find that, okay, you've gone into this circumstance because it looks like it is showing up as an issue. And that could be probably maybe, again, I'm not financially giving you advice. I'm interpreting the cards. Where you felt that maybe that was going to bring some money, more abundance, right? It could be that it hasn't reached its full potential yet. Now, it may be that during this time, you've looked at maybe what hours could work for you better, what would fit into your lifestyle more effectively, with balancing maybe home-based businesses, out ventures. I feel during the retrograde, and this can be a great time to reassess, a great time to go into negotiation, and it can be busier. So you may find that your hours are going to pick up, but you may find that spiritually you don't feel by the time it goes direct that it's going to resonate with you. And if you've already picked up that signature that situation hasn't been resonating for you, I would say mid-month would be the time to get those kind of email resumes out, start looking, start headhunting. Because what it can actually do is it can spread them out further and wider. You can have more opportunities coming to you with the actual direct. So mid-month, towards the end of the month, I'd say mid-month, but start working on it now if that's something that you feel you want to do. Because I feel spiritually what you're looking at is, something's got to give. You've got the 10 of Swords here, and you're kind of like, I don't want to use all my resources. So it could be that You're going back to tools that, there could be something to do with inheritances here as well. Now, this could be assets that you already have, maybe some wealth through inheritances, and you don't want to waste that. It could be something you're looking at your family and your kids and you're like, look, I don't want to be worse off than what that was. I want to be in a better kind of position. This also can relate to retirement. This is what I'm getting psychically. It's like, I want to set myself up for retirement. I don't want to have to work like this forever. I spiritually feel I need to address some things to get things in order. And we're looking at the heart of the situation. And you're kind of like, gee, is this going to do what it's supposed to? And I think you're kind of looking at this in an abundance setting and you're like, I'm a bit worried about this. I thought, and this is the frustration, right? With all these retrogrades we've had from the beginning of the year and last year, when Mars was retrograde, what it can do is slow wealth down. It can slow the value down, right? Mars is direct. We'll probably see house prices go up. We'll probably see, then we have the Virgo eclipse. It can be interest rates and tax and things like that. Our health also can be a problem. We're like, okay, how do I get healthy so I can do more? And some of it just simply could be that we're all tired. So it's about going slow, honoring the body, doing things to, kind of use it like a tank. It's like, what do I put in my fuel tank so I have more energy to give? Do I need to get more rest at the moment? Do I need to sleep and nurture myself? Do I need to detach from worry? I feel you're acknowledging there's a problem, and I feel you're looking at it like, I've got to do something to change this, and I need to start doing it now. So just trust your intuition. What you can find is if you choose not to leave this and abundance does start coming in, you've already put your feelers out regardless, and you can pick and choose. Does that make sense? So you can change your mind. It's almost like, oh, I won't send any. No, send it out and make your mind up later. You've got the, universe, and this is one thing, especially with the North Node. If you're having a nodal return, nodal reversal, we're moving into eclipses. Universe usually, and this is for all of us, okay, this was a hard lesson for me to learn. We get the PDF. That could be in the shape or form of a worry, a stress, a near miss. Houston, we have a problem moment, right? Then it can come through of a near miss. Oh, wow, the bank balance is really going down. What's the backup plan? Now, we can then use our power and go, okay, I'm acknowledging the PDF, the problem, the download, the thought, the issue. I had an near miss, okay, so I know the yin to the yang of that. Now I need to take action. It could be creating a tower, could be ripping something down because it's just not working, copying it sweet and taking direct action, or having it happen to us. We can pick and choose, but it's going to happen. Okay, so if we've had kind of acknowledgement in a particular area, know where Virgo is in your chart and Pisces, know where Aries and Libra is this month. What's the other? Cancer and Capricorn structures, we're looking at hierarchies and systems and everything changing. That was going to happen. Pluto left Capricorn. That old city of life is gone. We're moving into a new one. It's like the crumbling and the rebuilding. We're all going through that. So you, at the moment, are like, shit, I've got to do something, all right? It's going to be hard for you because automatically we, in that Virgoian energy, are like, I looked at the details, I, crossed the T's and dotted the I's and I let go. Go with the flow. Anything out of your control, you have your resources, you have what you have. It could be a bit of a delay. You got to get out of your head, okay? Stop worrying because worrying attracts the same vibration. Go back into your vortex. You are manifesting good things. You're moving through the eclipse. They're saying to you, this stagnation could be until after the eclipse. Now, do I feel it's the first one? I do. It could be a bit of a delay, but it's saying it's giving you this time here. Some values could be coming back to you, money owed, etc. You're going to make it through, but they're saying prepare. I also feel a love interest is going through a similar thing. They're saying don't focus too much on that because both of you are getting your ships correct. Both of you can be going through similar things, but you've got to focus. It's almost like they're being really adamant about this. You've got to focus in on this ship and then just detach. So don't let anything that person is telling you trigger you too much because it's preordained. It's a natural kind of cycle it's moving through. Both of you are going to be safe, but they're saying focus on this at this point in time. Once you've done what you feel you need to do, detach. Don't get up in your head. Okay? You're not stuck. That can be, especially as I said to you before, if you need to do something, do it. And if you change your mind, that's okay too. All right? I hope that helps. My hair. Put the cards back. Who do we have next? We have Marie. Do we have Marie in the house? I'll pull some cards after Marie's and we'll see any other collective energy they have for us. I hope that helps. I hope it does. My doll. Whatever message guides have. Okay, let's see what's coming through. Is there an anniversary of a person that has passed over around you at the moment? It's an old situation. It doesn't feel a new one. It could be a birthday. It could be the anniversary of their passing. Sometimes it can just be that these individuals are around you because there's something major happening in your life. It does feel like a female energy. Oh, stepfather. So who's the woman I'm seeing also? His passing. Are they related? Was there a grandmother energy as well? Because it feels connected. Because the first person I saw was a grandmother energy, or it felt like an older lady. Two flipped out. Oh. I'll wait for you to post and then I'll continue. Okay, so they're definitely around you anyway. I was seeing, first person I saw was a older female, very connected to you. Not sure, but I am feeling a great grandmother around. Yeah, because it felt like a feminine energy. It could be a great grandparent, but I do feel it's more than likely linked to a family member. Also, anniversary dates generally. Okay, so I feel as though, look, a lot of times around anniversaries, those individuals are very, very near, okay, because it's the signature, it's the vibration, they come back around that time. They also can chime in around special or important or key times, something that you directly are going through in your life. And I feel these energies there. Like they're acknowledging the fact that you're saying, look, I'm okay. You are okay. But there could have been, like, it could just be the vibration of the memory coming back, the memory. And I'm not saying nostalgia because they're really steering clear of that. So it could have been the circumstances in which that person passed. So, or maybe what the dynamic of the relationship was. But nevertheless, they are making a reference to the memory, a bit bittersweet, heavy heart, so to speak, but far enough away that there's other things going on as well. You do have, and I don't know why I'm hearing this, like there's the calm before the storm, but I'm not feeling that in a bad way. I am very, very close to my stepfather. He passed March 14th, a few years back. Yeah, the person's energy is very close around you. So there's that bittersweet feeling, but what they're saying is, and it's interesting because we get the Five of Cups, and I'm getting that it's almost like this is helping you confirm, and it could be that you've been having a thought or a conversation with this person and you've been feeling maybe they're not listening, and they're saying, look, I'm right there. So it's more the signature of, yes, the time has been lost, the person's not here theoretically, but they're actually saying, yes, I am. So just turn in and you can have a conversation with me. I'm around you at the moment. Don't think everything was wasted. Don't be in regret over those things. They're also referencing that they were very happy in their life. They were content with the way things were. It was what it was, and not to get too upset about, look, were they happy? Did they have everything they wanted? Was it the way it was supposed to be? Because they're really saying, yes, they were. This was how they chose to be incarnated, and how things should have happened. And they're also making a reference to you and your love life, that it is going to be beautiful, that it is going to be nurturing and loving. And there could have been something maybe going on for you around that time. This could be around love. And with that person, when they pass, there could have been something quite significant that was happening. What was that subject? Because we do have the Lovers, like you literally had two crowning energies coming out. And I think it's to do with like something that was happening around that time that kind of linked. It was like, could have been bad timing, it could have been something quite major, but they're referencing it. I do think there's a person at the moment around you that is maybe struggling in a certain way. It'll come to you, but that this could be now. This could be now that they're referencing. So it might be correlating with that date, and that date being quite important. And it's weird because you said, what months did you say? March. There you go. I feel it's this year. I feel it's something around that time frame to do with love could be coming in, but something's changing. I'm hearing the term full circle. You've had to grow up very fast. Okay, the cards that are coming through, there's three cards here, and it's almost like they're saying, don't worry about them. There's a stage you're going through. They are saying, again, the eclipse energy is coming up, and there is going to be justice. Something's going to be balanced. Again, I do feel there is a lot of subjects around your family and your home. Maybe some things of an element of paperwork that you're wanting to address. Maybe some conflict that you're having and you're feeling it's going to be problematic. But I do think that any conflict is going to be addressed. Now, they, like I said, they're going back and they're referencing the fact that there could be an issue with a particular parent. Now, could this be like a mother? It could be. Passed away a year ago. Okay. This could be another family member. It could be a sister. It could be an aunt. This does feel like a feminine energy, but there is a circumstance that this person is going through that is quite difficult. It could be that you're going through something that's quite difficult, but I'm feeling it's a family member. It is going to be resolved. They may not want to listen, but it is going to be resolved, especially because we do have Mars direct. It's going to be able to be tackled. It's going to be able to be handled because it is in this frequency. We've got the Empress and we have the Ten of Swords. It's like there is this dynamic. It's like, look, we need to deal with this. This needs to be dealt with. And I do think it's going to be, but, you know, something is going to change so that this circumstance is changing. That's all they're saying. But it is, they're saying it's coming up. It's going to be addressed. Now, it also can be that the step-parent figure's on the other side, watching over this situation. Again, I'll probably have to dig a lot deeper into that. But they're also saying the context of this is it's sort of like an unmanageable situation. Something's coming to a head. Now, as to a conflicting situation, if you are dealing with a person of the past, it's weird because this reference point they're making has nothing to do with your twin. This could be an ex that you have or somebody that is very difficult. Now, it could, for some reason, they're really saying it's on your side of the fence, okay? Your side of the fence, this could be an ex that is problematic, that has been an ongoing problem. Power to some degree is going to be coming back to you. And it's almost like you're going to change your approach to how you're going to tackle this. Now, if this is on a TF side and it is a karmic situation, it's going to be tackled in a different way. And it can be that these things come up at this time to wrap up and resolve so that the whole situation can move forward. They are saying there is a bit of a delay. They are saying that some of this can be kicking off very early on in the pace, but wrapping up, I would say, by the end of next month. But something quite significant in that particular area is definitely occurring. And it could be to do with third-party energy. So conflicting situations, things that are blocking you, things that are hindering you. You are in the magician energy, so it is going to be that you're going to be able to tackle them. But I just get this feeling that the resolve of it isn't coming till after April. Okay? Cross your T's and dot your I's, be aware of it. And just, look, it is like justice is going to be on your side, but you do have to get out of the mindset that, because this card can be almost like, how do I put it? Like somebody else is winning and you're getting the shit end of the stick. It's like, make sure if that's something that you're concerned about, tune out of it. Almost like you're not allowing that psychically to happen and you can actually spiritually block it. Because what we resist persists, what we fear can manifest. They're saying to me that this is controllable, but it is something to do with how powerful your mind is and to be super aware. I also feel you're trying to be very protective of this could be assets and wealth. There could be somebody that you feel is quite shady and you're trying to protect maybe tribe and family. I think that this will go in your favor, but they're also saying keep an open mind. Okay? I hope that helps. You are being guided, though. You are being protected because you do have the two guides there. You definitely have the two guides there. I do think Mum at the moment is in between two realms. And that doesn't have to be that something terrible is going to happen, but it does feel as though that person can be. Sometimes it can come through due to dementia. It could be through being very psychic because they are between two realms. So take it how it lands, but I feel as though that person is very intuitive. And is able to see things, sense things. Very quiet at the moment, but very intuitive, if that makes sense. You're most welcome, love. I hope it helps. Okay, let's take a look at the collective energy of what I see coming through and what we need to know this week. And I'll take the super chat energy down and we will get into the energy. All right, energy update. Save. Nobody likes to hear typing on the microphone, but yeah. Because that can be the other person I'm seeing. She's between two worlds, yeah. Yeah. So the female energy, that's why a lot of times, especially when you're psychic and channeling things, if a person is very, very psychic in nature or ill or between two realms, sometimes it can be mental illness that we sense. where the person is having an out-of-body experience. When you're tuning, you've got to be able to decipher it to pick up who that person is. So the parent energy could be that person actually connects in with dad quite a bit, tunes in. Okay, collective energy. What are we having? What's coming up? Okay, we could be feeling there is a lot of crap going on. Okay. Now, can we tune into, sometimes, and I spoke to Jan about this yesterday, it was like sometimes we can look at injustice and we can go, oh my gosh, is this the status quo? Sometimes injustice actually causes people to have a feeling, to have an emotion, to act and react and do something. Sometimes we have to have that simulation. It could be that there's something that we're going through at the moment where we feel it's very imbalanced and we're wanting to make that change. We're not quite knowing within our lives how to make that change. And I feel at the moment it's about going back into that maybe protective mode, that Empress energy. Something from the past is coming back to be revisited. I do think it's going to be quite strong. I do think it's going to be quite bold. I also feel a heart that is pure doesn't have to be naive, okay? A heart that is pure doesn't have to be naive. So it's about being firm, but it's also about being emotionally intelligent. And I think this is going to be the key moving forward. We're balancing the yin and yang. We're also needing to be maybe approachable and be able to deal with things in a way that we particularly maybe can show a poker face. And I don't, I say this very cautiously. It's not about pulling the wool over someone's eyes. It's about assessing situations. It's about looking at it. It's about having empathy for things that other people are going through, not just being very self-absorbent and going, this is only happening to me, because it is collective energy. We also could feel very strongly about love at the moment. We could feel that we are having two extremes. In one, we can be very nostalgic, and one, we can be very critical. So trying to find the medium ground. But there is something in our hearts that is maybe really needing to turn into a friend and to have a chat to a friend, to be part of a community or a network that makes us feel that we're very understood. That can be going to a coach. It might be having a discussion with a key friend. And maybe during these retrogrades, it's important to reconnect with people that we really care about. Maybe also being forgiving towards those individuals, because it could be that the transits directly are affecting them. So if we are having a moment to maybe journal, to get into our frequency and understand and be forgiving of where we are, but also to have that network that we can share those experiences, be it it's with a mother, father, friend, sister, brother, child, and we can connect in. There are going to be changes in directions. You are thinking about the things and the connections that you're really prioritizing. You also could be entertaining connections and contracts and looking at what is going to be best for you. And I feel it's very dreamy. I feel it's very, we can see the bigger picture, but we maybe don't know how to get to it. We are coming from a place of love. There could be some conflicts with contracts, and it might be that we're actually looking at that ahead of time. And it's weird because I got the term prematurely, but I also feel it's not. I feel for some, you're very intuitive. You're like, look, I need to get my ducks in a row. You could actually be still pulled in multiple directions. You could be very concerned. You could be looking as though your resources in your life are very limited. You could feel very bored with the status quo of how things are. And you could realize that some of the things that you used to enjoy, you simply don't enjoy. Some of the things you used to enjoy, you're going to return back to. They're also saying not all wealth is found in money. And again, we are going to find those in a sense of being spiritual. We're going to find those in a sense of resourcefulness. You know, Venus retrograde, for instance, we do need to be extremely careful of food poisoning, and that is not a medical diagnosis. You know, it's about checking that food is cooked to a certain temperature, making sure it's made fresh. So if you're, you know, over the next 40 days going for takeouts, being very cautious of that, being mindful of what you're putting in. That can be with meat. You know, it is a Mars energy. It also can be with pacifiers. Again, check the use by dates. Wine may turn to vinegar. You just got to be careful because we're going to have the two, right? False starts don't mean no. They mean do it another way. It's also going to test whether what you are desiring is worth fighting for, okay? Because no, you know, it's a process of elimination. And I always say this, you can't expect a different result if you keep making the cake the same way. If the cake was a flop and you keep making it and you keep getting angry and you're saying, why does this keep happening to me? Well, why do I keep making the cake the same way? Do I need to add an ingredient? Do I need to remove an ingredient? Do I need to check the temperature of the oven? Whatever it is, it's a process of elimination. So it's saying, it doesn't mean no. And I hate the term divine timing. Sometimes it is. If we have a lot of aspects in our chart, suddenly it's going to happen. It's like it was destined to happen. We're like, bang, bang, bang. It might be you were looking for a house and suddenly you have a house. It could be that, you know, you've waited all this time and suddenly you're in detachment. It just flows like a river. These things can happen. It is ordained time frame wise, but some of it is there to show you during these retrogrades is what do I truly value? What am I willing to work for? Where is my standpoint? Now, some of us, like I said, we may go towards those passions in a very bold way and very impatient way and not take no for an answer. Others of us, we could be quite calculated in a kind of method to getting to them. We are going to be looking at ourselves. We just got to be careful with that Virgo energy. Okay, could be very critical, very judgmental, very opinionated. We could get headaches. We could get run down and burnt out. We're recovering our energy. Mars is going to be pushing us hard. It's going to train us, but it doesn't have to be negative, okay? Just be careful. It could be that you're getting onto a better routine. It could be that you're having to be hard with yourself for a good outcome. There can be some conflicts of interest at this point in time. You may have to make very cautious decisions around wealth, but this could be if somebody's asking you for a large loan and you're going, look, I don't think this is the right time. I feel by mid-month we could have a signature, but definitely by April things are moving. This can, from a business point of view, actually increase sales, depending on the industry, okay? Depending on the industry. Any conflicting situations, it's about looking in. It's a process of elimination. It could be that we need to remove ourselves from certain circumstances because we feel it's a conflict of interest, because there's too much interference. It could be a physical environment. Now, the delays are there to help you. Any questions? I think we're navigating it. I think we're picking up on a signature. I think there's major areas we want some changes. I do think there's still some conflict where it does come to home, family, environments, and it could be that we're quite focused in on that. We're having to be quite firm. We're having to address some elephants in the room. We're tired of there being blocks and hurdles. This is, I hear the final countdown. That's what I'm hearing, the final countdown. It's like a wrapping up of all these physical dynamics where we are then moving into this brand new chapter. You are also needing to be extremely realistic. You are going to get some value out of it, but it could be a value you never thought you'd get. Surprising values. Some rags to riches. Finding value in the most unlikely area. Having a revelation and epiphany. But expect delays. They're saying definitely expect delays. It could be that you're trying to plan your life around the factor that there could be delays. It could be that you're trying to set yourself up in a way that you can weather storms. You can also find that during Venus and Mercury retrograde, your plants will need extra care. This could be protection against hate, protection against, soil, soil issues. It may be Venus retrograde can actually cause plants to die for various reasons. Could it be better to delay? It is a 40-day cycle. That also could affect trade. Now, why would that come through? Could be because a road is closed. It might be because of a fire. Could be because a truck is unable to get to you because of engine failure. There can be delays. Love also, I do feel for people that were in very codependent relationships, I feel that this can be a time where they are boldly actually facing their truth. And it may be that they are becoming more assertive and determined, but it could be that during this retrograde, they are having to maybe revisit and see if they have the kind of green flag to move forward. Some things could pull them back, but it's merely to cycle it out if this is what is kind of destined. If there is a lot of conflict and interference, it could be that they're put under a pressure test to actually kind of feel that frequency, to be in that simulation. And this almost looks like the Pisces energy to me. It's like the dream, living the dream, but not dreaming the dream, not living the dream. They do have the resources and power, but it's, if they are making excuses maybe for not leaving a circumstance, it can be that they're put under assimilation to show them where the real pressure and the blockers. And sometimes that block inevitably can be themselves for not choosing themselves. And I think through this could be a huge breakthrough for many people where they're realizing they had power all this time, but not in the shape or form that they thought. It was by them actually choosing something that they felt, regardless of other people's opinions, of what they felt was correct for them. And this is collective energy also. I hope that helps. We will check in with this hopefully next week. And we do have the schedule up for the super chats. If you do want to get on board of the next super chats, go through and have a look. We also do have the Sage Network. You can jump on the website and you actually can join the email list if you want to get onto the next round offers. They are going to be open to the second group soon. The third group, which will be open to the public, will be late in the year. So you do want to get onto that actual email list as soon as possible. You can always decline if you don't wish to join, but in order to get on it, you do need to be on the email list. We will check in with you later. Don't forget to look at the community posts on the main page to see the next dates for our super chats and our lives. I'll see you soon.